Michael Morales Torres para Lucha Libre Online, la marca número 1 de Pro Wrestling y Combat Sports en el mundo. Mi invitado especial, uno le llaman mi gemelo, exjugador de la NFL, ex superestrella de la WWE, y este domingo lo vimos en ESPN hablando del draft de la NFL. Anteriormente Top Dolla, AJ freaking Francis llega aquí por primera vez a Lucha Libre Online. AJ, brother, it's an honor to have you. How are you doing? ¿Cómo va todo?
Bien, muy bien. We are on our way to Miami right now. You know, the show tomorrow at Magic City. I'm getting Bay back. I'm seeing Brian Idol. Brian Idol's a person I've had more matches with in my entire career than anybody. This is going to be the 6th time that me and Brian Idol had faced for the SCW title. I won the first 3. He won the last 2. So, you know, we got to see how it goes.
Brian Idol, a great wrestler known in Puerto Rico. And give me just one moment because someone decided to jump in the Zoom chat. Let me add Jorge to the conversation. This is obviously, this is what happens here. Brian Idol, a champion in Puerto Rico in Ground Zero wrestling here. So good to hear his name coming up in this conversation. My co-host for today, Jorge Cervera, is already here with us. The youngest staff member in the history of our brand. We've been here in the market for 20 years. He's 16 years old and a voice announcer and a commentator in Mexico. So good to have him. Before we go with Jorge, AJ, I want to start this interview with what's hot. NFL draft. You were on ESPN. It's not a simple network. It's the biggest sports network in the universe. How was that experience? How did that, how do you make that happen?
So I am signed with a Max Talent Agency. They have a lot of top talent in, the sports journalist world. From Nate Burleson to Robert Griffin III to, a bunch of different people. And, I had connections through Nate from when I did NFL Network with him 3 years ago before I got to WWE. Actually, when I did the NFL Network with him, I brought the SCW title on the show and we talked about it. It was awesome. So, I would say if people mad at me, I don't really care. That I'm the only independent wrestler that I know that's ever had their title belt on national TV, and I did it 3 times. So, I plan on doing it again this weekend after I win the SCW title back from Brian Idol at Magic City Wrestling in Miami, Florida. But, ESPN, they're the biggest sports network in the world, and I've been doing on-air analyst work for football, basketball, hockey, baseball, soccer, any sport that is played in America. I've been doing it for a decade already before I ever got to WWE. That's something that a lot of people don't know about me. And that's also why I got the Most Wanted Treasures job, because I had been a host on television for a decade already. So it wasn't something new to me. And so because of that, through those connections, they had a draft show at ESPN, and I actually got flown up, or as we like to say in the hood, I got flew out to Bristol, Connecticut, and ended up doing the pre-draft show with Field Yates and my dog Scooby. So it was real cool. It was a good experience.
That's awesome, brother. Jorge, I believe you have the next question, sir.
Yes, Michael, I have. So AJ, it's an honor to be here with you. I'm a great fan. So I want to talk about the person you are. So how did your childhood help you in terms of mental strength to become the man and the wrestler you are today?
Man, just never accept what other people think is acceptable for you. I had a vision of my own and what I wanted to do. I had people tell me I couldn't play D1 football in high school, and I did that. I had people tell me I couldn't play in the NFL when I was in college, and I did that. I had people tell me that when I first got out of the NFL and I was wrestling on the independents, people tell me, oh, you're not going to make it to WWE, and I did that. So, I've hosted TV shows, I've been in plays, I've done Super Bowl commercials and Super Bowl songs. I've never limited myself, because the only person that can tell you what you can and can't do is you. So if you believe you can do something, you can do it. Look at you, 16 years old. You're a part of this on Lucha Libre Online. There's a lot of 16-year-olds that would love to have that opportunity. And there's a lot of 16-year-olds that would say, man, you'll never be able to get that opportunity. But look at you.
Thank you. And well, you talk about the football. You say a great word, there. So what skills from American football did you use in your wrestling training?
Toughness. You got to realize that when I was in football, American football, not the beautiful game, not football. I'm a big soccer fan. That's my favorite sport. Vamos Orlando. I'm an Orlando City season ticket holder. When I was playing football, I was a lineman. And as a lineman, it's warfare. Every play, it's like combat. It's, hand-to-hand physical assault is every play when you play line in American football. So, like, when I get to wrestling, I'm big. So, like, I don't have to do as much, Like, it's the complete opposite. Like, I was having to fight, like, guerrilla warfare every single play when I played football. And in wrestling, it's just, all right, I'm big. I'll bump maybe twice, 3 times at most. And then, the match is over. So it's a lot easier for me in wrestling than it is for a lot of people, So I'm grateful for that. But at the same time, you still got to be able to be tough. So like when we were facing, when Swerve won the North American title from Jonah, at the time, Bronson Reed. And I took a bump in that match that a lot of people remember where I dived through the plexiglass over the barricade. And everybody was like, yo, you're crazy. How'd you do that? Da, da, da. And I'm like, yo, that's like one tackle in a football game. Like I've had games where I had 17 tackles, So like I'm used to that kind of, work and that kind of physical beat up body feeling. So now wrestling to me is way easier.
I'm gonna change a little bit the dynamic here, and I'm gonna change it to Spanish, porque Top Dolla o AJ Francis habla español, detalle que tal vez no muchas personas sabían. Where do you learn Spanish? ¿Dónde aprendiste español? And how useful has been living in Florida?
Aprendí español en escuela y colegio, pero aprendí más en países Colombia, México, República Dominicana, España y viviendo en Florida, porque toda la gente en Florida habla español. Mi primer día en Florida, el avión en el aeropuerto, toda la gente habla conmigo en español, pero luckily, ¿cómo se dice luckily?
Afortunadamente, it's a long word. Luckily.
Afortunadamente, yo hablo español un poquito, pero muchas personas in that situation is, ¿qué? So for me, it's a blessing porque en Florida, especialmente, toda la gente habla español y en business, en el supermercado, in the gas station. So it's necessary.
That's really unexpected. Porque de momento we've seen a huge AJ Francis, born and raised in DC, living in Florida. And de momento yo hablo un poquito de español, and I was like, me pasó, it happened to me. Didn't expect that, but that's a huge thing, man. Speaking of huge things, born and raised kid in DC, had the opportunity to achieve multiple things in his life, NFL, WWE. But one of the things you did is WWE's Most Wanted Treasures on A&E. That's a different show on a different network where the audience is a little bit complicated compared to the rest of the other ones. There you were a host, and now you're looking for the Undertaker's stuff, Kane stuff, and you're actually working with Glenn Jacobs and Mark Holloway and Paul Levesque and all these huge guys and personalities inside of wrestling. how did you manage to basically not breaking up? Like this is extremely huge. If you follow wrestling, which you did in your career, now you're working with huge legends. How was this experience for you?
It was amazing, man, because really it was like my whole life I grew up watching these guys, man. Like I grew up watching Undertaker and Kane and Mankind and Mark Henry and Booker T and all these legends that I was with and Flair. And like, it wasn't just cool that I was helping them reclaim their own legacy. It was cool that they were cool with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've said this before and I'll say it again, like, Undertaker could have, if he wanted to, been the biggest asshole to me, you know, in the history of the world. And what was I going to do about it? He's the Undertaker. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to do anything about it. I'm just going to suck it up and be like, okay, well, he doesn't like me. That's cool. But he was actually like the coolest dude ever. Like, the first day that we went filming, I had trained with the Undertaker a couple of days at the PC beforehand. But, you know, he's the Undertaker, you know? So, like, I don't know if he remembers me at all, you know? So, like, I come around the corner, and he's like, oh, AJ, what's up? And I'm like, oh, my God, the Undertaker knows who I am. This is incredible, right? So, and then that first day, me and him go to Kane's mayoral office, and we sit there and I sit there and have a conversation with Kane and the Undertaker about their careers. This is my first day, like, filming with anybody on the show. And I'm sitting there like, this is the craziest experience of my life. It was amazing.
That's awesome, brother. Jorge.
Yeah. Well, AJ, I want to talk about a little bit of WWE. Well, you be with Hit Row on NXT, and you make great things, I think. So in a moment on the WWE draft, you draft to SmackDown. And not many talent make it to go to the main roster, but you did, and with Hit Row. So who gave you the call up to notify that you were being called up to the main roster? And congratulations, because I saw that, and that promo with all the members of Hit Row was amazing.
Thank you, man. Yeah, it was, honestly, I'm here driving to Miami right now with the hoodie, you know?
Hoodie! That's unexpected.
Yeah, so like, but honestly, the best thing, the way we found out that we were getting called up was actually completely an accident. So we had I had a dark match against Cedric Alexander in Baltimore, right? And then as I'm getting ready for the match, one of the executives from Fox comes up to all four of us and it's like, yo, we're gonna get the right team in contact with you guys next week, and we're all sitting there like, wait, what? Like, what do you mean? And they're like, oh, nobody told you? We're like, no. They're like, oh, yeah, well, tonight you're getting drafted to SmackDown. So keep it kayfabe, but you know, you're getting drafted to SmackDown tonight. And literally, that's how we found out. We didn't know when we were getting drafted. We didn't know what time we were getting drafted. We ended up getting drafted the first pick in the third round, I think. Was that it? Maybe the third pick. I don't know. We were the third pick. So like first NXT. So like we were the first NXT pick, the fastest call up of all time. So like it was awesome. It was a great experience. It didn't work out the way we wanted it to, but it still was a great experience nonetheless.
Since I already saw Tehudi, my bad, but I need to ask because both of you work with him. Paul Levesque or Triple H recently hung up his boots. He took the decision to retire. Both of you work with him for a long period of time. Both of you were under Triple H's learning tree in what my opinion is the best version of NXT. How was both of your respective experiences working with such a brilliant mind inside the wrestling industry like Triple H?
I can't speak for Tehudi, but I know my favorite thing was the fact that he believed in us. Like he didn't let the writers write for us. He didn't let anybody do anything for us. He just said somebody's really fast on a motorcycle right by us, but he just said go out there and do what you know you can do. He had us write our own promos. We made our own entrance music. Like we came up with the name of the group. Like and everything. He just trusted us, and that to me is a big vote of confidence when somebody of his level who's accomplished all the things he has in this business is like, yeah, you guys got it. This is where the camera's going to be. Make sure that you are in the perfect spot for that. But other than that, you guys got it. Like, that to me is the best thing they did for us.
That's pretty much what I was going to say. There's nothing else to say. I can't add to that. That's pretty much what I was going to say.
Man, you were lucky and blessed to have the opportunity to do what you love for a living. I believe Jorge will have his last question.
Yes. And well, AJ, to finish the interview, I want to talk, well, what is the thing you like the most about being a wrestler? Well, I want to compare it with your time in the NFL. So what thing is the thing you prefer?
Honestly, I prefer wrestling. I always have. I watched wrestling before I watched football. I was a Hulk Hogan fan before I knew who Emmett Smith was, right? So, like, I have always been wrestling first. I just knew that I could make money playing football, so I did. And I knew that the doors would open from the NFL. Like, the door to the WWE opened because I played in the NFL. Like, there's a lot of people that want to try out at WWE that don't get one the first time they ask because they didn't play in the NFL, you know? So, like, there's a lot of opportunities that opened up doors from the NFL, and I'm forever grateful for that. But to me, wrestling is better because wrestling is your opportunity to be a superhero, like, or a supervillain. Like, it's acting, it's physical feats of strength and athleticism. It's the perfect combination of all the things that I'm good at, which is not, I'm good at being an entertainer and I'm good at doing physically athletic, brutal things. And, you know, it's the perfect combination of the two. Because, like I said, I've been doing TV for a decade before I got to WWE. And I played football from age 12 to 28. So that's 16 years. So, like, to be able to find the perfect combination of the two things that I'm really good at, entertaining and sports, is how you become a sports entertainer. So what I did there.
Man, before we go to my last two questions, I want to plug in something in Spanish, en español. AJ Francis y Tehuri Miles también están disponibles en todas las redes sociales. Síganlos en Instagram, aparece como Tehuri Miles en Instagram. Él está disponible también en TikTok. Tiene My Life Story también en Spotify. My Life Story también está disponible en YouTube. También está disponible en Twitter. También pueden adquirir toda la mercancía de Hit Row. Está disponible en los diferentes lugares donde aparecen en sus redes sociales, en su Linktree. Por su parte, AJ Francis está disponible en las redes sociales, aparece así mismo AJ Francis 410 o AJ Francis 410. Ahí lo pueden conseguir. Si usted quiere un saludo, si usted quiere que un saludo en Cameo, si usted quiere la mercancía en Pro Wrestling T-shirt, las diferentes áreas en donde estén disponibles, en este caso AJFrancis.me, AJFrancis.me, para toda la mercancía que está disponible allí. Lo pueden seguir en Instagram, lo pueden seguir en Twitter, lo pueden seguir en Twitch, también está disponible en todas las redes sociales, así que échenle un contenido. Estos dos caballeros son mentes brillantes, actúan rápido, saben hablar en un micrófono y créanme, cualquier promotor que los tenga va a ser muy afortunado. Así que book AJFrancis@gmail.com, book AJFrancis@gmail.com. En Puerto Rico, en México, en Colombia, en Chile, en Ecuador, en Perú, en todos lados. Bring him in. Es book AJFrancis@gmail.com. And before...
con los hitmakers.
And what?
Con los hitmakers.
Con los hit Oh, the three of them, of course. It should be a perfect combination. Puerto Rico, Mexico, the world will love to see you. So hopefully we can see you either here in Puerto Rico or Jorge will be able to see you in Mexico, man.
Actualmente, Brianna vive en Cartagena.
Brianna vive en Colombia?
Sí.
Never expected that in a million years. How is that going for her?
She lived there before she came to WWE.
Oh.
So when we left WWE, she was like, I'm going back, you know. So she loves it there. She lives on the beach. So, you know, there's worse places to live.
never in a million years I expected Brianna Brandy to live in Colombia, but that's more than awesome. Like the way Hit Row, the three of you, you know, connect with the Latin American audience is simply brilliant, but it's due to your love for them, for the Latin American culture. I want to plug in also something in Spanish really important que va a estar pasando este sábado, this Saturday, April 30th, sábado, abril 30, Sherwood Bondi Village, 215 Purvis Avenue, Sherwood Bondi Village, 215 Purvis Avenue, Miami, Florida. Magic City Wrestling Federation presenta su primer aniversario. Shout out to Vinny G for making this possible as well. Lleguen allí directamente. Para boletos están disponibles en www.magiccitywrestling.com, magiccitywrestling.com. Para tickets, ahí va a estar Brian Idol, ahí va a estar Los Colons, ahí va a estar Big Con, ahí va a estar Black Rose, va a estar AJ Francis. We're gonna have a huge card in Miami. magiccitywrestling.com para boletos y síganlos como Magic City Wrestling en todas sus redes sociales. AJ, Magic City Wrestling Federation, Brian Idol again in your way. He's the eternal stone in your road. How do you feel having the opportunity to face him one more time and make magic with the guy you've had most matches in the ring?
Honestly, it came pretty. At first, I didn't know who I was going to face when I was at Magic City. And then Benny, who you already mentioned, reached out to me and said, what do you think about facing Brian Idol? And he actually said, is there any heat there, brother? You know? And meanwhile, I thought it was hilarious because he didn't know that Brian's the person I faced more than anybody in my entire career. So, like, I was so excited to be able to face him again. And to be honest, like, also didn't know that the SCW title, I held it for 210 days before I got to WWE. The person I lost the title to was Brian Idol, and he's held the title since then. So to be able to have the title on the line in our match at a new promotion, because this is the fourth different promotion that I will be in a title match for the SCW title in that isn't SCW. And it's the first time I'm not the champ doing it. So, you know, it's a pretty cool turn of events, and I'm trying to get Bay back, man. I need Bay back. Bay, I did so many good things with her. I need her back around my waist, over my shoulder. It's gonna be a pretty thing. And if you come to Miami tomorrow, or if you're in Miami tomorrow, make sure you come to Magic City Wrestling Federation. It's the best show this weekend you're going to see in the 305. So make sure you come out.
And punching Brian's face makes it the cherry on top. So you get the title, you punch the guy in the face, and that's life. AJ, as mentioned, it's been an absolute honor, sir, to have you. And thanks as well to Tehuri for jumping in the interview with us. Wishing you success to both of you, to Brianna, and to in everything you do in life, in your careers. And thank you very much for your time. And let's hope to see you este sábado, this Saturday, in Magic City Wrestling. Boletos a la venta en magiccitywrestling.com. AJ, let's wrap this up en español. Do you want to do it? Or should I do it?
You started, I'll finish.
Perfect. Jorge Cervera, el integrante más joven de la historia de Lucha Libre Online, Michael Morales Torres y AJ Francis y Tehuri Miles, Hit Row, están los tres juntos nuevamente, llévenlo a sus países, no pueden perderse esto. Nos despedimos, nosotros tres para Lucha Libre Online, la marca número 1 de Pro Wrestling y Combat Sports en el mundo. AJ, wrap it up.
Gracias por toda la gente y a toda la gente. Y if you didn't know, now tú sabes.